extra stuff in 10.1.5 that you might know or don't know about. And I have listed up 12 of those, so let's check them out. A new rare in 10.1.5. We got a new rare in 10.1.5 that drops 415 eye level weapons. This rare is a little bit tricky to find, but it's located in Thodrassus on the mountain. If you look at the image, you can see where it is based on your surroundings. The rare is called Zalakir the Chosen, and the transmog of those weapons are also really cool, so you can grab them even if you don't need the power of the weapons. It is 100% loot on the drop, once per day per character. Time Rift weekly quest is once per account. The weekly quest got changed in the PTR and live servers. Just in the end of PTR, you could actually do the weekly quest on all your characters. When it came out on live, it changed so that you can only do that weekly quest on one character per account. Also, before this change, the dilated time capsule that is used for buying 402 to 424 veteran gear was rewarded from that weekly quest. So instead, what they did is that they moved that item into a boss drop from the Time Rift bosses. And with that, they then made that change so that weekly quest got shared between characters in your account, so that you could still get a dilated time capsule on your other characters. Regarding the dilated time capsule, as mentioned, this item is now a boss drop from the Time Rift bosses. There is a high chance that you can get it from the first boss you kill of the week. But the question is, can you get more of this item the same week? I have some people telling me that you can, so it might be a very small chance that you can farm more of these. Me, myself though, I haven't seen more of these. Time Rift rewards. The Epic Box reward for reaching 7,500 essences in the Time Rift event has a chance to drop a reward from the Time Rift vendors, similar to the Time Rift boss. So basically, you can have a chance on transmogs, mounts, pets, and gear from that box as well. It will be like a 00 reward, if you're lucky. Transform Time Rift gear into tier gear. Yes, finally when 10.1.5 came live, it got changed. You can now transform the gear that you get from the Time Rift vendor and the same gear that the Time Rift bosses drop into tier gear. Rewards comes from all vendors. A huge change that they made between PTR and live when it comes to 10.1.5 is that the rewards you can get from the Time Rift bosses, they were tied before to that alternative world vendor reward. But then on live, it became changed so that you have a chance to get any reward from all vendors no matter what boss you kill and loot. I'm not sure if this is the case for mounts though, because me personally, I only got mounts that are tied to Alternative World Time Rift vendor. But let me know in the comments below. Achievement that rewards a toy but is a pet. Temporal Acquisition Specialist. That is an achievement in 10.1.5 where you need to find a variety of items across the timeways. Basically, each alternative world has 2 items that you bring back to Solidormi. One comes from phase 1 during the invasion, and the second one comes after defeating the boss, and it is somewhere in that platform. Except the robot world, where both items actually comes from an invasion in phase 1. Collecting all items will reward a toy called Boffins, which is actually a pet that follows you around for a while. Legacy Crafting, Nax, Skolo, and Argent Dawn. We got many new legacy patterns added in 10.1.5 that we have spoken about before. These are tier 3 gear, the Frozen Rune gear, and other Nax and low-drawn armor and weapons. Many of these items are actually not soulbind, such as the War-Torn Scraps, the Frozen Runes, and all the recipes. So you can sell them and make tons of gold instead if you want. Legacy-tied currencies are account-bound. A good change they made yesterday was that the Invader Scourge Stone, the Corrupted Scourge Stone, and the Argent Valor tokens that are needed for all this crafting and buying materials, all that stuff for legacy crafting, all these are now bind on account instead of bind on pickup. So you can farm on different characters and send all of it to one character now instead, which is a huge W. Buy catch-up gear. Another change is that you can now buy catch-up gear to your alts. Well, now. This change comes out on next weekly reset. So you'll be able to buy 2 different chests that contains gear. Calderax will sell Conquest boxes. It's called Obsidian Equipment Chest. And this requires that you have Challenger 1 in Season 2. It will have Isler 408 gear and it will cost 375 Conquest points. Spinsoa in Zollik Cavern will sell the Valor boxes, which is called Volcanic Equipment Chest. This requires that you have 1,000 rating in M+ for Season 2. You will get 398 eye level gear and it costs 250 flight stones. This is what we know so far. So we have, of course, some questions. For example, is it upgradable gear? most likely the only thing is not upgradable gear at the moment Dragonflight, a little bit older stuff and stuff you get from rares. So it'd be weird if you couldn't upgrade this one. Another question is, can you send this to your alts? Is it bind on account? Most likely it should be, because based on the requirement how to get it, you'll probably be much higher eye level than what you need from those boxes on that character. So we will see next week when it comes out. Trade mounts between factions. There are 2 mounts tied to the Time Rift event, and these are the Ravenous Black Griffin and the White War Wolf. These can be bought from the Time Rift vendor. However, you can also loot a gift version of these mounts from the Time Rift boss. They will instead be called Gift of the Ravenous Black Griffin and Gift of the White War Wolf. This means that you'll be able to trade that gift version to a player in opposite faction, so that opposite faction player will be able to use that mount. That's a new cool feature that they have added. Sell items on the auction house on your phone. The app you need is called WoW Companion app, and you could buy things from the auction house with it before. Blizzard then removed the auction house from that app, but then something happened. Finally, Blizzard made it happen. You will now be able to add and sell things on the auction house via your phone. So not only buying, but also selling items as well. And there you go. Those are the 12 things that you might or might not know when it comes to patch 10.15. Until next time.